furniture maker, going way back to 1980 when I started my trade. I always went towards shaker type of furniture, craftsman type of furniture, the simplicity. Those furniture types were sort of cultural. The shakers believed in simplicity and things had to have a purpose. The craftsman style furniture sort of came the same way during the Industrial Revolution when they started to just mass produce everything, and furniture started getting mass produced, and art and tile. It was around the 1900s, late 1800s, that the movement started. And a lot of beautiful furniture and artwork. Tiffany glass, Tiffany in general started back then. A lot of famous tile people. Gustav Stickley, he made big headways, and he sort of was the leader. So Stickley furniture, which you may see today, which is craftsman style, it's still kind of made in the family tree. It's interesting to pick up a book about Stickley, Gustav Stickley and his family and his brothers, and how they kind of got started. It's sort of like a continuous factory from when he kind of started, but made some different changes. So Stickley furniture came from there. But Thomas Moser started Moser Company, I believe, in 1970, and he was actually a professor, I believe a tenured professor at a university, and he just didn't want to do that anymore. He really loved furniture, and so he started getting shaker furniture and taking it apart in his garage. And from that, he learned how they built their furniture, why it was so sturdy and strong. And so originally, he went to his wife, I believe he had 5 kids or 4 kids, and said, I'm quitting my job and starting a furniture company in my garage. I actually tried to do that myself and failed, but it's a great story. Their furniture is absolutely gorgeous to this day. He then started making his own furniture, and with his connections into the educational system, they have I believe an educational line where they make library tables and chairs and things like that. Most of the furniture is still handmade today. When they started, it was all cherry wood that they used. They used cherry wood from the Northeast for all of their furniture. I believe now they do some walnuts. It's very high-end furniture. If you have the money, get yourself a piece of Thomas Moser furniture. But I was very, very sort of sad to hear that he passed. He was 90 years old, and by all accounts, he was a really good father, businessman, person. He created a really good, modern piece of furniture, which you don't see these days. And his furniture is still hand built for the most part. You have real craftsmen shaping their chairs and their tables. I have stolen many ideas from them on my limited design pieces that I've done in my life, but I always will pull up a Thomas Moser catalog to see kind of what new they have and what variations they have, going back to the shakers. I also really would suggest studying the shakers. They were a religious sect. They came here, I think, kind of in the late 1800s. I know in 1990, I have a book about the shakers, and I think in around 1990, the last shaker was still alive. They basically disappeared because they didn't believe in procreation. But they were very modern compared to Quakers or Mennonites, in that they believed in modern technology, and they have several patents, including a pen nib. I believe they have a patent for a washing machine. So they're pretty innovative people. They're really, really good craftsmen. And again, their styles were sort of similar. So the reason I bring this up is I have this old chair that my wife bought in the thrift store, and I really want to throw it away, but it is wobbly, and in the spirit of Thomas Moser, I think I should give this repair a shot. So you can see how wobbly it is, and I'm going to take it apart. The one thing you'll see, if I build a piece of furniture, generally. Thomas Moser's furniture, really, really good furniture that's going to last your lifetime, and really well made furniture. You will not see a mechanical fastener in it. You won't see a screw, you won't see a nail, no mechanical fasteners. Heirloom furniture should always be built without fasteners, and glued tenyons, mortises. Japanese furniture, they have some of the coolest joints that they can make out of wood, where they put the furniture together with these joints with no glue at all, and it stays together. It's really, really cool. That's too much for me. I really like my glue and stuff. So just looking at this chair real quick, I don't know if this is seen, but there's screws here on the arms. Obviously the bottom is going to be screwed on here. So you do see some screws, but generally we try not to do screws. The bottom of this is broke out. So I'm going to take the seat off first. Then I'm going to see what's loose, and most likely one of the hard parts about fixing a piece of a chair is, do I take it completely apart and re-glue it? That is always preferred. I'm really lazy, especially when it comes to fixing furniture that, you know, I don't think this is an antique with any stretch. It could be, but you can tell it's a little bit old because you have straight head slotted screws, so you can tell that. These screws in here are straight head, and but they use those in factories, so it's definitely probably a factory-made piece. Maybe before the 60s, but I doubt it. But anyhow, it's kind of a cool chair. It's worth saving, and I have a hard time throwing things away. So, and I think it's going to be a complete. I'm going to pop it all apart. You can see this is coming apart, and then I'm just going to clean up the joints, and I'm going to use probably Gorilla Glue. The nice thing about Gorilla Glue is, for furniture, it will expand into the joints. So this is my Gorilla Glue. And so when you put it in, you got to be careful. You don't want to use too much. But what will happen is, I'm going to glue it, and it's going to expand into the joint and ooze out. And then I'm going to have to clean it up. So that I don't like. But the fact that it squeezes into the joints on its own and it expands into the joints, it's kind of nice because you know the joint is filled with glue. The other option would be to use white glue. So I always keep the Ultimate Typon 3 wood glue. It's waterproof interior, exterior, so I like that. Gorilla Glue is also interior, exterior. It's more expensive than regular yellow or white glue, but if I'm building something that might go outside, I just never have to worry about it. And honestly, the amount of glue you use comparably, unless you're doing a big laminated layup or something like that, the cost is, you know, a couple dollars a bottle, and you're going to have the bottle for however long. This stuff never really goes bad that I've ever been able to tell, but it will, if it freezes and thaws enough, it will smell. It will start to smell like rotten eggs, which is really kind of interesting. It will still work. I usually, if it gets to rotten eggs, I throw it away. Usually the Gorilla Glue, because the way that it dries, this is almost a brand new bottle. And I can already tell, like, it's kind of hardening up already once you open it and air gets to it. And then if you forget, so this will kind of harden up, and I end up throwing. Usually when I buy this, it's going to be, I'll use it for something specific, and then it will sit, and then I'll go to use it again, and it'll be all hard in the bottle. So, and this is really expensive, and the cleanup is harder. So those are my glues that I can use. So that's what I'll do there. And let's start taking this apart. in honor of Thomas Moser. Glad you made it to 90, my friend. And I think the other furniture maker that's probably on my mind would be a guy named Sam Maloof, who's been dead for quite a while. But Sam Maloof actually taught Jimmy Carter how to build chairs. So he was really, really famous. And he wrote books and everything. I don't think he actually had a line of furniture like Thomas Moser does, but he was also a very good modern cabinet maker. I think he probably died. I gotta find Woodworking magazine with his picture on the cover somewhere here. Here we go. I knew it. Sam Maloof, 1916 to 2009. So he was a very famous furniture maker. Beautiful chair, beautiful. He made really, really beautiful chairs. Again, sort of an offshoot of Shakers, going all the way back to Shakers. Shakers would not have had rounded edges and stuff like that. They would have been more, like this. But two of my favorite woodworkers, Sam Maloof and now Thomas Moser. God bless you guys.